Hi, this is Kayye. We're here at InfoComm 2016, and I'm in the InFocus booth, which is a combination of a couple of companies, which we'll get to in just a second now. First of all, I'm joined by Mark Housley, who's the CEO of InFocus, and also Brady Bruce of InFocus, who's the Chief Marketing Officer. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Doing great. It's good to talk to you again.
Well, how's the show been so far? Brady, what do you think?
Well, you can look around and you can see it yourself. It's busy here, and it's been that way since the doors opened.
Yeah, everybody said the same thing, so that's good that you're seeing that indication. Projectors seem to be back. You got a booth full of projectors here.
They've never gone away. We're here at the show with, 9 new projector announcements this week, ranging from an ultra-portable device that has more lumens per pound than anything else in the market. It's very small and very, very bright. And then we've announced the inclusion of Lightcast across many of our products. Lightcast is our technology that makes really simple the act of getting things off your phone, your tablet, your laptop onto that screen wirelessly.
Right. Yep. And Lightcast simplifies things quite a bit, and I think it was, if not the first, one of the first wireless transmission systems for projectors, if I recall.
It's our overlay on Apple AirPlay, Miracast, and Chrome, taking those 3 different transmission methods, just make it really simple to use. So whatever you walk in the room with, whatever device that may be, whatever OS you happen to be running, you can get that content up onto the screen.
So Mark, over the last year, you've gone through a major acquisition of Jupiter Systems, and now they're part of InFocus. I know that no acquisition goes perfectly, but in general, how did it go?
Well, in this case, it's about as perfect as you could get. We kept all the people we wanted. We announced new products 3 months after we closed the deal, I think, and shipped those new products on time, and the customers love them. So, sales are growing. We've been expanding. The InFocus Salesforce is now integrated with the Jupiter Salesforce. We've been expanding that across both domestically, as well as we're opening our new executive briefing center in Frankfurt, Europe. So, knock on wood, it's going about as well as you could hope.
Well, I think I said this already to Brady when we were at ISC. It's a good merger because what they had, you don't have. What you have, they didn't have. So it actually, there's no crossover, and they were complementary technologies. And in fact, what your team brought to the table, Brady, was that collaboration piece that dropped right into to InFocus.
Well, you see the fruits of that combination here. And by the way, the acquisition of Avistar also figures prominently in a lot of the things you see here. So as Mark said, very soon after the Jupiter acquisition, we took this fantastic MondoPad technology, married Canvas to it, and had a touch-enabled interface we call Canvas Touch for that collaborative visualization product. Sitting here behind us is the Connect's video conferencing system, which is incredibly scalable by virtue of the InFocus and Avistar technology married to Jupiter display wall processing technology. There's a certain segment of the market that was unserved that said we really need a highly scalable video conferencing system that could occupy a wall. And so by taking Jupiter display wall technology, Avistar, and InFocus technology, we're able to create this. It can have from 1 screen up to 96 screens, each with individual content, shared content, faces, data, real-time telemetry, whatever's necessary to the meeting.
Well, I need one of these for my office, so we'll talk offline about that.
Well, and that's exactly the point. There's a lot of folks now. We've made the smaller Connects exec affordable by anyone who's running an organization that has remote locations and wants to be able to communicate in high bandwidth with good emotional integrity, right? Yeah. As opposed to some low-end software-based only system. And ConnectWall fills a need. You don't have to go to a full telepresence suite at $250,000 to get a very immersive, very productive environment. Visit me in Portland, you'll see my office. I am traveling probably 25% less because I can talk to all my guys spread over 5 different offices in 2 continents, and it just works.
And the just works is the key, right? Because the software integration and hardware products in our industry has been horrendous historically, let's all be honest, and that walk-up and use experience hasn't existed. MondoPad, I think, started that a little bit, though. I mean, I think it had that walk-up and use experience, and you sort of like took the best of Windows but made it a lot better. So I assume that that's sort of the philosophy, is to try to keep the focus in mind of simplicity, literally where you can figure it out without having to read anything.
I hesitate to requote Peter Thiel, but we were promised jet cars and we got 140 lines of text. Everyone wants and needs an immersive, collaborative, workspace, and the technology exists now today, but the systems don't. So our future is, how do we just make it easier and easier, more affordable, so everyone can afford it? Because once everyone has it, everyone will use it. If there's 3 people who don't have a video phone and they're only on audio, that disenfranchises them. And so the new progressive attitude that our whole theme says, look, how do we include everyone in the conversation? Because that's when true collaboration begins. And we're just going to get incrementally better and better and better every show. More bandwidth, more resolution, more ability to layer information on complex basis.
Well, actually, the density of pixels is a key factor, right? Because you could, although technologically, visually, you could think this up 5 years ago, you couldn't have pulled it off without the advent of 4K processing and display, right, ultimately?
Right, so what you'll see here at the show, in fact, are some of those important improvements. So on the J-Touch and MondoPad lines, you'll see we've incorporated 4K technology in some of the models, because seeing that density of information, whether you're teaching a class or managing a global empire and looking at minute pieces of machinery, the clarity of that image really matters. The other thing we've done to improve user experience is incorporate in some of the products capacitive touch. Now, IR has been the industry standard for some time on large panels, but of course we're all accustomed to capacitive touch by virtue of these devices. When you put capacitive touch on a large display like the one behind me or some of the ones out front, it feels different. It's very satisfying. When you go to draw on the wall, it feels like the ink is coming out of your fingertip. Really, there's no lag behind it. When you go to move an object or pinch to zoom, again, it feels intuitive. What happens on the screen is what your brain imagines should happen, and it's very satisfying.
So let's turn to the future a little bit. Obviously, the collaboration of your 2 engineering teams is going to produce some really creative...
It's all one team now.
Well, the 2 before teams, or 3 before teams, now have produced one heck of an engineering team. What can we expect next year's InfoComm?
Well, one of the things we don't do is announce stuff too far ahead of time. So that's in our technology cycles, that's a long time in the future. But you'll see brighter, denser, faster, and hopefully you'll say, wow, that's even easier to use. We're not actually we're trying to do something that's very complicated, which is to make things easy.
Yeah, in fact, that's actually a really good way of saying
more features, but more of the right features. It's not like we need more features. We just need everybody able to afford it and to use it and integrate it in their environments.
And one of the goals really is to recapture that first 10 or 15 minutes of the meeting that too often is lost on trying to make technology work. Right? Our goal, we don't know how long it takes us to get there, but it's get that down to 1 minute. You walk into the room, and within 1 minute, you've established a connection with the people you need to meet with, share the content you need to share with them, and are working in a real collaborative way with people no matter where they happen to be.
The future is, 5 years ago, you walk into a conference room or walk in your office and you have 2 people sitting with you and maybe someone on a speakerphone, and you have a whiteboard that you're drawing on the main. Well, and that's still the working environment. But now a wall is going to be both a display wall plus an interactive whiteboard that we can have people on the other end where we're not thinking about it. Just like you didn't think about the whiteboard, or you didn't really have to think about your speakerphone.
Find the eraser.
That's right. Or you ran out of ink, right? And we throw that in. But how do you just walk in and it's not like, oh, let's get the IT guy ready. It's I'm walking up, we're saving the workspaces, the last meeting you had, let's replay. How about let's replay the last video conference we had, just so we remember what we said. Now, that's not complex technology, but it's a massively different workflow. Imagine the quality of meetings is if everyone knew that their teleconference, it's a permanent record. And it might improve the level of performance and focus, and as a CEO, accountability is important. And that has nothing to do with the technology, but it has, like I say, this progressive change in how this stuff just has to work.
I think your comment about you're doing something really difficult, trying to make something easy, is a classic quote that I'll probably use over and over and over again now. But, well, thanks. I appreciate you guys taking the time. We actually have gone around and shot videos of each of the individual product stations here at InFocus. So all you have to do is type in InFocus in the video search window, and you can find them all. And, of course, you can check them out at InFocus.com with a brand new website, which, by the way, is awesome. So thanks and congratulations. I appreciate you guys taking the time today. I know you're really busy, but we're here at InfoComm 2016, halfway through the second day of the show, so we got a long way to go. So keep watching, keep paying attention.